Hey everybody, what's up? It's Kimbos. Hope you are doing good today. And if you're not, reach out, talk to somebody, because you matter. Oh man, it's been a while since I've done one of these commentaries, and believe it or not, I actually made a really funny mistake today, about 20 seconds ago. Alright, so get this. Here I am, sitting down to record the video, getting ready to talk about it, get my commentary, and what do? I don't hit the record button. None of it happened, and oh man, I'm having to dig everything back out of my brain and get it started again. But oh well, I'm not really that mad because anger isn't going to solve that problem. It's just going to make me less efficient. Anyway, what's this video about? I want to say thank y'all for 100 subs. Now, I'm not really one to care about numbers because numbers don't define you, all right? I don't want my people out here or anyone thinking that, you know, I think I'm some awesome, perfect person because I hit 100 subs. Because I definitely know some people that when they reach the numbers they're going for, they just, that's not me. That's not me. I try to come from humble beginnings, if that makes sense. People, I mean, look at it like this. YouTube has been around for a while. The internet has been around for a while. People know how to support you. If you're worth it and people like you, they're going to show their support. They know how it works. I don't feel like I need to ask for that. That's just weird. We all know those guys on YouTube that they make the video and they say, oh yeah, if you don't like and subscribe right now or in the next 5 seconds, there's going to be a spider under your bed when you go to sleep. Like, no, there's probably not, all right? And two, that's just dumb. You're really bribing people, making them afraid of nothing, just so that you can get some numbers. That's petty, that's weak, that's just cheap. I don't like that. And so I made sure that was not going to be me. I'm not going to be the guy that does that. So this gameplay you're watching right now is probably one of my best so far. This lobby right here was an absolute gold mine. And right as I say that, let me make sure I'm still recording. I gotta check that. Okay, I'm still going. Whew. Just gotta double check sometimes, man. Gotta double check. Yeah, so this is a Naya Palace using the Scar, my long range setup, and I get my first 61 gun streak. Might as well have been a double nuke. That's basically what it was, in my opinion anyway. So what's new with me? What's new is I completed my first year of college. Freshman year is done. Now, I'm really kind of at a loss for words. You know, I haven't really had a great way to describe it, but it's just been such a surreal moment to be in this dorm and see my friends leaving and just realizing that I spent, you know, the better half of a year here and I worked my tail off. There's a lot that happened in here. Some really great memories. And I'm going to miss it. I really am. One of the things that I'm proud of, I remember being here my very first day, sitting there with my roommate saying, hey, I think I'm going to hop on some COD. You want to watch? He's like, yeah. I mean, I know you're goated at it, so let's see what you can do. And I was like, I appreciate that, man, but can't promise anything. Just do my best. He's like, all right. But yeah, I remember that night, I dropped my first nuke on the college internet, and I thought I was the baddest man out there. I thought that was awesome. Oh yeah, I gotta censor that. I don't want to have curse words in here. Oopsies. Anyway, yeah, I remember doing that, and I thought, man, I am the boss. I am the bomb.com. I am a legend. I mean, sure, it was cool. I'll give myself some credit. It was cool. But, yeah, one of the things, so there's definitely some stuff I feel like I can improve on. So I would say that the biggest thing was probably time management and getting myself balanced. Now, what do I mean? All right, so I'm gonna take a quick little anecdote here, and I'm gonna explain that. So in my first semester, we had a class called University Seminar, and in that class, I had to write some goals for myself, predict some struggles, and how I could react to those struggles and make sure I stay on track. I predicted that time management, work ethic, and staying balanced between fun and productivity was going to be a challenge for me. And I was right about that. It's definitely been a challenge for me to get the right balance between having a good time, hanging out with people, and, developing, cultivating meaningful relationships, and, making sure I get my work done on time, and making sure it's quality work. It's the work that I would be proud to submit. Because if there's one thing about me, my mom instilled in me, happy Mother's Day, happy belated, was that if something's worth doing, it's worth doing a good job of it. And I wholeheartedly believe that. So that's why I do my best in everything I do. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to try to overcommit to something, but I definitely want to do the best I know how to do. All right, now, what you're seeing here is the Kilo nuke on Krovnik farmland. It's probably one of my favorite maps right here, just because whenever you get a really good lobby, it just flows really well, in my opinion. The map sort of has this funnily characteristic to it where, you get E, you get D, then you get C, then you get B, then you get A. It's just straight line, sort of, or it's more like a squiggly line, but people tend to follow the typical trajectory of going from one flag to the next. And I like that because it's kind of got this predictable nature to it, and that means if you really know what you're doing, you can slay out and you can drop some easy nukes. People that just don't expect you to be in a spot, they'll get you. Or I guess I said that backwards. People that don't expect you in a spot, they won't know what hit them. That's more accurate. Like that guy right there, he had no idea I was in there. I haven't killed him before. That's why there's 32 players in the lobby. It makes a difference. They have no idea what hit them. But anyway, what do I want to talk about in here? I want to shout out a really, really great YouTuber and content creator, Twitch streamer, JoshGotGame. If you don't know who he is, I highly recommend checking him out. At least. I'm not saying you gotta, I'm not one of those guys either that's like, oh yeah, you gotta subscribe to my friend. If you don't, you're not cool. Nah, man, it's whatever. But you definitely should. He's a great guy. In my opinion, the stuff we talk about, the topics, the discussions we have, they're really interesting. I don't think Josh is your typical streamer, your typical content creator. The other day, I think it was Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, one of those days, we were talking about how it seems like as you get older, it just seems like everything seems to kind of go down. And I'll explain what I mean by that. It seems like as you get older, movies, TV shows, games, music, they all seem to be kind of less than what they were when you were in your youth. And I feel like I notice this in every generation. It's a fascinating thing to me, how you can be, or I guess, what am I trying to say? Well, I'll use an example. I remember taking a survey question, and I think it was for some sort of personality assessment. It's like a psychology thing. Anywho, it asks you about what you think the best music is, and one of the options was Dire Straits. And if you don't know Dire Straits, it was an older music group that was kind of back in the day, before a lot of people's time. And I think the test was about calculating mental age and whatnot. And, I feel like that test was kind of onto something, or onto the same thing that I'm talking about, which is how as you get older, it seems like the first things you experience are always the best things. And I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense. It makes sense to me, because I can definitely relate to it. I remember my very first Need for Speed game was Need for Speed Underground 2. Now, a lot of people will say that is a very, very good Need for Speed game. And I don't agree, it was. But then people will also say that the games now are complete garbage. They have no value to them, and they suck. They're not any good at all. And in my humble opinion, that's not entirely accurate. I feel like, excuse me, I feel like games created today, music created today, things created today still have value. It's not the same value because things are going to evolve, things are going to change. You can't expect a civilization to progress through their evolution, for lack of a better word, the exact same way forever. And that might seem kind of like common sense. Well, duh, of course people aren't going to stay the same forever. But I guess what I'm really getting at is that, you know, you can't have Black Ops 2 again. I mean, sure, there could definitely be a remaster, but to create an original video game, original experience that is just as, I don't know, it's got the same vibe, the same energy, the same everything to it as Black Ops 2, it's not gonna happen. Or at least in my experience with games, movies, TV show, music, it's not something you see where they create a new version of something and people are like, oh man, this is just as good as it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I don't hear people say that, and I think there's a reason for it. It's what I'm talking about. As you get older, if you get nostalgic, or I don't really know what the word is, but it might not be nostalgia. What I'm thinking of is just that your youth and your memories from back then kind of overpower, the problems that were existing or going on back then. Because my personal experiences with that sort of thing is that, yeah, there can definitely be some good memories. There can definitely be some awesome stuff that happened back in the day. But it's so easy to remember the good things. And I'd say it's equally easy to remember or not remember the things that weren't that great. And an example of that in my life is I remember sitting on the bus going home from school with my friends. And, you know, it was a good time. Things were pretty simple back then. And arguably still simple today. But there was a difference there. I think that in that memory of me being on the school bus with my friends, I'm not really thinking about how I had so much homework to do that night, how I had, a lot of papers to write, or yada yada yada. I had to walk the dog. I didn't want to walk the dog. Things like that. I'm not really thinking about that. I'm thinking about how I was with my friends and just cutting the rug, having the time of my life. I was an 8th grader. It's good stuff. Real good stuff. But it's not everything. And I think that's part of, I'm not a scientist. I'm not an expert. I just think that that's a good example in my life of sort of memories not being entirely accurate based on how they really were. Because I know I had boatloads of homework back then. I had things I didn't want to do, just like anybody else. And yeah, times were definitely good. They were simple. But it's not necessarily true that stuff now isn't as good as stuff then. I mean, for sure, there are objective things, like, I would say, World War II. Now, it makes a pretty interesting Call of Duty game for, I think most people would agree, interesting. Interesting is not the same thing as good, by the way. Yeah. But, while it does make a great game, at the same time, it was also a very, very difficult time for a lot of people. And unless you live under a rock, you know about that. You know that World War II was hard on people. The guys were going off to war, the women were staying at home, the kids were scared they were going to get bombed in school. It's a problem. It shouldn't be like that. Obviously, it's World War. Nobody needs that. But yeah, let me think. What else should I say? Well, I guess, just the future has got just as much potential to be as good as the past, and arguably even better. I feel like the time we're alive in is a blessing. It's really nice to be alive in the time that we're alive in. Medicine, it's good. Technology, it's good, if you can use it within moderation, of course. I don't really have a whole lot to say. It's kind of just driving the same point home over and over. And I really believe it to be true, that the future has just as much goodness in it as the past, if you can let it be realized. I'm about to run out of time here, so thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day or night. Peace.